President Bola Ahmed TINUBU is said to have submitted a supplementary budget to the National Assembly requesting the allocation of over 7.3 billion naira for the procurement of vehicles for the State House. In the same budget, the Office of the First Lady is set to receive 1.5 billion naira for the purchase of new vehicles. The budget request is set to be part of President TINUBU's broader proposal, which includes a 2.17 trillion supplementary budget for approval by the National Assembly. Within the supplementary budget, the government intends to allocate 2.9 billion naira for the acquisition of sports utility vehicles designated for the presidential villa, and an additional 2.9 billion naira.
Welcome once again to this channel. You heard it. We are talking about billions of naira, sport utility vehicles for the office of the, in quote, First Lady, apart from that of the president, apart from legislators. And you might be wondering where all of this money is coming from. I'll tell you for free. Some of this money or monies are coming from loans. Have you ever heard that loans are used to pay your legislators, or you've not heard about that? There is more that you are about to hear. This is serious. And some might say, why are we so quick to talk about Bola Ahmed Tinubu's government? Well, we talked about the previous government, and we will keep talking until things get better. In fact, action is going to be put into it. We cannot live in a country of waste where government, to run government, it has become a waste resources. That's just what it is. Billions of naira earmarked for this vehicle, for that vehicle. They want new cars, they want new this. We are yet to get there. Nigeria, we are yet to get there. We will not get there until every individual changes his mode of thinking, norms, and some of this distorted way of seeing the world or seeing life. Until we change it, we will never get there. Every now and then, every new administration will come up with new vehicle that they are going to use for the next 8 years. And after that 8 years, you will never hear anything about those vehicles. Are those vehicles auctioned off? Who are going to buy those vehicles? What is really going on? Or it becomes personal property of whoever that's served. What is really going on in this country? You see, Nigeria is like like a jungle where you fight for your own spot. Like how Bola Ahmed Tinubu fought to get to that point. It's not because he needed more money. Bola Ahmed Tinubu wanted to secure what he has stolen, what he has taken, and things that he has, and for personal satisfaction. Like, yes, I was told I would become great. I was told I would be president. I was told I would be this. I made sure that I fought to get there. That's all he wants to achieve. That's all. Nothing more. With so much that Nigerians are complaining about economy and apart from that, let's say basic amenities, because economy will always be this way or that way. People will always complain. Cost of living is high everywhere in the world, not just Nigeria. Things are changing for bad. But let us kind of look at it. Billions of naira, 40 billion, this amount of billion, 53 billion. And we are talking about people who are, in fact, don't you think we should scrap the Senate and allow, after all, states have their legislators? What is it about this Senate? What is it about these new vehicles that are procured every time? Why is it that we do not have a Ministry of Transport, really Ministry of Transport, that will monitor vehicles that are procured for each parastatal agency or whatever it is, and repair and make sure that this is passed down to the next? We are yet to get there. We are yet to get there. Like, seriously, the federal government has budgeted over 6.9 billion naira on procurement of vehicles for the State House. Like, seriously, with the First Lady receiving 1.5 billion.
Wake of the outrage, trailing the approval of 57.6 billion naira for sports utility vehicles for lawmakers. President Bola Ahmed TINUBU is said to have submitted a supplementary budget to the National Assembly requesting the allocation of over 7.3 billion naira for the procurement of vehicles for the State House. In the same budget, the Office of the First Lady is set to receive 1.5 billion naira for the purchase of new vehicles. The budget request is set to be part of President TINUBU's broader proposal, which includes a 2.17 trillion supplementary budget for approval by the National Assembly. Within the supplementary budget, the government intends to allocate 2.9 billion naira for the acquisition of sports utility vehicles designated for the presidential villa, and an additional 2.9 billion naira for the replacement of existing vehicles at the presidential villa. Dr. Abati, you know that this will raise a lot of eyebrows, but you know that there is more. The breakdown of the proposed expenses also include the sum of 4 billion naira for the renovation of the residential quarters of the president, while renovation of Dodan Barracks, the official residence of the president in Lagos, would also gulp another 4 billion naira. Also, the sum of 2.5 billion naira is budgeted for the renovation of Aguda House, while 3 billion naira is budgeted for the renovation of official quarters of the vice president in Lagos, bringing it to a total expenditure of 13.5 billion naira.
Well, the various official residences may well be in need of renovation, because when a president leaves, a new president comes in. You know, there is usually renovation because the place will be renovated to the taste of the new president. Dodan Barracks in Lagos in particular, you know, having been abandoned more or less for a very long time, you know, needs renovation because the other building that is in Marina has been handed over to the Lagos state government. So if the president of Nigeria comes, he will have no option but to use the Dodan Barracks, you know, which even also has a small landing strip for helicopters. However, the one that you may query will be, this one's about vehicles. And the example of President Hakainde Hichilema of Zambia.
I had that video. I was going to play it again, but so, you know, go ahead.
President Hichilema of Zambia said, look, he's not going to change vehicles. He will just be using the vehicles that are there. So the question you now raise is, the vehicles that are already attached to the First Lady's office, what is wrong with them? Are we going to change all the vehicles? And then some of the vehicles, official cars in the villa, you know, are we going to change all of them just because we have a new president? It shouldn't be the culture that each time a new president comes, you change all the vehicles. And in any case, this is still by way of supplementary budget. Unfortunately, people are protesting because the same National Assembly that has taken over 70 billion to buy vehicles for members is not likely to say no. He will just say, well, I mean, since we got our own, it's good for the villa to also get their own.
I think that image on TV right now is very instructive. Yes, the National Assembly spends 53.7 billion on cars for lawmakers in 12 years.
The third point is that in a country where inflation is shooting through the roof, there are concerns about foreign exchange. I mean, people would genuinely, legitimately feel scandalized that you are going to use public funds to go and buy luxury vehicles, you know, for whatever purpose. So these are the issues here. Our leaders should be seen to also be cutting corners.
Yes.
They should be seen to be making sacrifice. And the most unfortunate part of it is that even when they don't make this sacrifice, these vehicles will not be bought locally. They will be imported. So, and the point has been made again and again that there are local companies here that are producing cars, and it should be good enough to produce, you know, to patronize local car manufacturers, even if they are assembling, even if they are car assembly plants.
I love that you mentioned that. A lot of people talk about the Innocent Motors. This is not. This has been trending. This was trending last week. It's a local manufacturer, and they produce vehicles that can really fit sin for these lawmakers and, the presidential villa. But before you speak, Rufai, I spoke to our State House correspondent this morning, Adeswa Omoruwan, and she talked about the fact, she said she spoke with the budget minister, and here's what she said. He says that the figures are justifiable because, there is a minimum standard that the state should provide for the presidency. Another thing that the minister also said was that, he gave an example of the German councillor who was received on Sunday, which actually got a lot of reactions because people were saying, why was he received in that manner and all of that. He said Nigerians should have provided a more befitting vehicle to pick him up. I don't know how much more that acceptance would have been, Rufai and Ayo. And that he thinks Nigerians should focus on big issues like the military getting the whooping 605 billion naira in the first instance from the TINUBU administration. Rufai, I know you want to speak.
Okay, so I've been itching to talk.
Yes.
Concerning the German ambassador, I think the best way to have received the German ambassador, if we're a sensible nation, I talk because I'm a patriot, should have been to use an Innocent or Nord car to drive the German chancellor. And when the president gets in with him, he says to him, that car is made in Nigeria. That's the height of Nigerian engineering, auto engineering. Then Germany will start to take us seriously. But if we are glorifying ourselves, we could have done better, all right, then it is very, very sad for us as a nation. I specifically wanted to talk about this thing, that as we called out the senators, we are also calling out the presidency here, taking all those monies for why people are suffering. But what I really wanted to say as regards even those renovation is the fact that as a nation, we need to introspect and ask ourselves what we truly want. And I'll bring up the matter of a place called number 24 Sussex Drive. 24 Sussex Drive is the official residence of the Prime Minister of Canada. The residence had been run down for so many years. The money allocated to is about $40 million. But because the Canadian president or prime minister fears the people of Canada so much, and they must justify every amount spent, they've not been able to fix the official residence. The Prime Minister of Canada, as we speak today, does not live officially in the official residence of Prime Minister of Canada just because of $40 million. Canadian GDP is $2.11 trillion. Nigeria GDP is less than $400 billion. But you can see a country, despite the big economy and all of that, will still scrutinize its leaders. But a country with a small GDP that has not done well economically is so quick to spend frivolously on its leaders.
Welcome back. Like I said, Nigeria is a country. After a while, observe, you realize that Nigeria is more like a jungle. It's a place where everyone struggles, somehow looks for whatever it is that they can grab. There is no patriotism for real. It is all about what we can lick off, what we can reap, what we can take off, what we can dig, what we can take away, what we can grab. It is the same colonial mentality, mindset, criminal mindset that Europeans had and they still have. That is what many of the so-called leaders that are rulers have. They are all common thieves. Look at the amount of money that has been budgeted to do this, to do that. And this is a norm. This is a practice. This has become a tradition. When a new president comes in, he comes up with his own budget, begins to spend. And we are talking of economy that is not doing well. You know what this administration is going to say? Oh, you think we are the ones that will use old cars? Then you begin to hear, I as a person, as an individual, I don't even use old cars. No, gonna do this. May God not allow this. No, God forbid. And some of them will tell you, do you know what and who Nigeria is? Do you know what Nigeria is? They try to talk about the prosperity of Nigeria that is not even reaching down to the citizens. They talk of how big, how great. Do you know what Nigeria is? As if they helped sportsmen, music artists, actors and actresses and people who put Nigeria on the map of recognition for good, they will begin to talk here and there, talk right, left, and center, and say, no, meaning Nigeria is so rich, why should we, legislators, why should we, executive, why should we use old cars that was procured probably 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 7 years ago? All of a sudden, those cars have become useless. What is this all about? What is this all about? Bola Ahmed TINUBU, I thought he was going to do better, but unfortunately, like how many of them do, it's the same thing, repetition. We don't even know or trust whoever is going to come in there. That's why people said if Peter Obi had stepped in there, maybe he would have done better. But who knows also? Who knows? Because human being, the Bible itself says the heart of human beings is so deep. Who can find it? Meaning Peter Obi could have acted like a saint as governor because he's, working towards, I'm going to be president one day. And he wants to use that. And once he gets in there, it's like a demon takes over them. They begin to act crazy. Now, question is this. What is the way forward? How do we get out of this? Look at the example that they gave of another African leader who said, no, we do not need to procure. The response that will come from some of these wicked, evil, greedy legislators or executives, are you trying to compare Nigeria now with that country? Don't you know that Nigeria is a giant? So we should appear like giants. Giants that is crawling on the floor. The only citizens of Nigeria is those legislators. You are not a citizen because there are certain things that citizens enjoy. There are certain things that citizens should benefit. Are you benefiting? No. Look at the cars that are assembled in Nigeria, built in Nigeria, and many other businesses that could come up. They will never patronize this. They want to put their money out. This money that they have loaned, they want to put it out to improve other people's economy, to improve Japan's economy, to improve America's economy. They will never, of course, we know that whenever they want to do this wrong, there are foreigners, I mean, Asians and Europeans and some Nigerians and whatever that have, they know the package. Once the procurement time comes, they call them, they know how to do the check and balance. How many cars are you going to order? How much is this? How much is that? And they tidy up the whole show. There are people making money off from this. When you see some so-called rich people in Nigeria and you bow for them, because now everyone is crying and shouting and say, oh, why are they procuring cars? Nigerians don't like to think deep. There are some rich people and their children that you are praising and embracing. This is how their father got money. Or you think Sonjo, Buhari or TINUBU is going to fly down to Japan to procure the car? Or you think his wife is going to do? No, there are certain people, they call them point men. They are the businessmen that have private jet in Nigeria. You bow for their children. You embrace their kids. You say, oh, the guy is rich, he's so humble. You stay in your poverty and be proud. Be deep when you are thinking. Many of these people, go and check. You say the man is rich. The man is a businessman. How did he become rich? How did he become a businessman? Until we begin to think, we will never get there. We will never get there. Begin to think outside. Stop thinking like a dumb person. Begin to reason clear. Like, wait, this man, they said he is rich. They say he's into business. What business? How did he come about the business? They say he's a general contractor. They say he has a private jet. They say he sent all his kids abroad. They say he's a rich man, son of a rich man. You hear them. You hear their kids singing. You hear them here and there. They will say his father was once a governor. Then you will hear this and that. Maybe you two, you are waiting for your own turn. That's why I said you deserve what you have. Maybe you're waiting for your own turn. When you get in there, you will do whatever it is that you want to do. You also rob and steal and loot. So don't complain. If you're waiting for your turn, do not complain. Stay in it, enjoy it. Look at it. So we need to think. By the time we begin to reflect and look deep, conscious thinking, reasoning, by the time we begin to think deep, then we will come to that conclusion. We'll begin to realize that, wait, hold on a second. So that guy, so his father, oh, his great-grandfather, oh, really, his grandfather, oh, this is the contract that they gave to them. Okay, this is how these guys run the show. Oh, really? So he is also part of the corruption. Oh, it's part of the problem that we have. Oh, this is the reason why we don't have electricity. When you begin to think about these people, then you will know where we are heading to. If not, you're on your own. I don't know what you think about this one. Drop your comment, like and share. See you.